Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product, as well as our guest lecturer members Vite Ramen and Full Grammar Alchemist. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will, and you're welcome because iSpy decided to give me my anniversary present today of the ban list being released today. It's your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's Office Hours, celebrating 13 years of marriage to my wife, Emily, and almost 2 years of doing the, or 4 years of doing this podcast. Not necessarily tonight, but you get the picture. We're coming up on it. And we were going to talk about spoilers tonight, like the fact that an entire video dropped today. Not just ban list. We were going to talk about spoilers. We were going to talk about ban list predictions. We were going to talk about thoughts for Minnesota. Gone. Just ban list.
Jeremy, I have so many predictions for the ban list. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. But before we get started, as always, I am TMO73, and I am joined, as always, by Paul Reisman.
Let's see, Otherworld Dreams, put that in the Staples pile.
And from a very dark hotel that we might not get him back in, he's in the back rooms because of all the yellow, it's Mike Rance.
They haven't let me out yet. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get you back out of there, I promise. We'll send somebody in to come get you. Mike of Dark / Mike of Light. we're on Mike of Light side, I guess now. Yeah. If you like what we're doing, want to consider supporting the channel, you can click that join button down below. It is the easiest way to support us. You can also always check out the links in the description to get your pre-orders in for 10 notes, because man, this set's going to be crazy given the new ban list updates. You're not going to want to miss it. You can also get your singles for FowFest through ccgprime.com. If you go to their website, you can place an order for singles and have it ready for you on site for FowFest. So we hope to see y'all there, as well as hoping to see y'all there in this weekend at Minnesota, which will be this current format, the first of 4 formats that we're going to have in the span of a month. So that's fun, because we have post-ban pre-10 Oats Wanderer, post-ban pre-10 Oats Paradox, post-ban post-10 Oats Wanderer, and post-ban post-10 Oats Paradox. So, you know,
say that 5 times fast.
I don't want to. I don't want to. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. This is honestly the ban list. I think no one expected it to come out today. We were hoping that it comes out early. It has some big implications, shakeups for this coming weekend in Minnesota, but I think for the positive. But we got a lot to talk about. So before we get into the actual card for card kind of changes here, they really talked about how this list they wanted to use as a really clear distinction effort to make Wanderer feel drastically different in both scope and mission to Paradox, recognizing the diversity of the two formats. Specifically, they kind of said they want Wanderer to be explosive. They want it to be the crazy high power, high crazy skill level, high crazy intensity of an Eternal format. And then they want Paradox to feel significantly more subdued, significantly slower, significantly more controlled in a controlled space. And I, out the cuff, really like that mission. I think this ban list does a really good job of forming that mission, and I think it's a great way to really drastically view the two formats as being separate, because it's also going to impact. It makes also, I think, it'll help make future set design make more sense, because then it's like when we're designing a Wanderer card, there are probably going to be cards in the set that are never intended to be Paradox playable. And we can recognize that and be okay with it, because we go, oh yeah, this is just a Wanderer card. Like, that's okay. Those are my first kind of thoughts. Mike, Paul, what do you guys kind of think about that mission statement they seem to kind of put forward here?
Mike of Light?
Yeah. I have to speak negatively for a moment. Mike of Dark time.
Mike of Dark.
Mike of Dark.
I'm definitely in the wheelhouse of like, yeah, I understand that like they're going to be coming out with cards that are specific for Wanderer and should be banned in Paradox from the get-go. However, I will forever be a proponent that the reason a card should be good in an Eternal format is not because the card itself is good, but because of the way it interacts with older cards. And I
Sure.
think that is a very specific design philosophy. I think we should make cards that interact very strongly with old sets, but in Paradox should be fully subdued. That's the game design I love to see.
Yeah.
If they're just making a card that's just like, hey, this is the best card in the set, too fast for Wanderer, ban it in Paradox. Oh, sorry, too fast in Paradox, ban it.
Yeah.
That's less interesting to me.
Yeah. I would like to point out that, interestingly enough, Book of Light will tap to bring back Book of Light, draw discard. This ban list is the ban list including T4. So interestingly enough, this does mean nothing in T4 is in their scope of mind, something that is not Paradox playable, at least from the jump, right? We might discover some crazy Wanderer interaction with the cards in this set, but from the jump, nothing in T4 is even combo banned. So it kind of speaks to exactly what you're talking about there, which I think is cool. Paul?
So what I thought was really interesting in the article that sort of preempted the whole ban list was they wanted Paradox specifically to be a kind of force of will that goes past turn 5, a format that is more resonator focused, and whose interaction occurs on the field, as opposed to Wanderer, which used to be Wanderer used to be a more spellcasty kind of format, is what they kind of mentioned. And so it's interesting to me that they're trying to create combo decks, and they're trying to create spellcaster heavy decks in the Wanderer environment with this list, to further differentiate it from Paradox. I think that that's fine to give both formats an identity, for sure. I think they really do achieve that with Paradox. My only worry is, and it's not a very big worry, I'll just put that in context. My only worry is, are we still going to try and end the game no earlier than turn 3?
In Wanderer?
In Wanderer. Because I remember in former design philosophy sort of things that they've said in the past, right along this, when they created Wanderer and they created Paradox and they started making all of these different changes to the ban list, they mentioned that they wanted the game in Wanderer to feel like the soonest you could win is on turn 3. And that was for like more aggressive decks. But for like control decks, we're looking at turn 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they keep in that realm.
I think you could argue that like you could shift it to like like your turn 3 going first kind of vibe is the kind of like what I expect, right? Like I still think there's explosiveness, not like so so the person going first has like lethal push on their turn 3. So like with 2 turns of setup, they can kill you. That kind of a thing for like the aggro decks. And I think that's still very much the vibe that they're going for here. I imagine the top end might get curved a little bit with control, like being able to kill slightly faster. I think we've seen better kill finishers than turn 5. I think for the most part, turn 5 was kind of the quintessential turn because we had Black Witch trained because we needed Seal 5, and we're not there yet. We don't have that anymore. So I think that there's something to be said there.
Notably, there are certain things that are gone that would help with that, like Electra.
Right.
Like Electra is still banned. So I think that they're still trying to figure out like how can we create bombastic cards that are like really good and really explosive to play. Like we want that feeling, but it's not gonna like change the overall feel of Wanderer 2 too much in terms of your ability to counter that kind of stuff or think about that kind of stuff in advance. So like I said, small worry. I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
go.
We did get, before we jump into it today too much more, we're gonna get into the actual cards here. They said at the close of Trinity Cluster, the rules experts have massively updated the CR with so many clarifications and simplifying many interactions. Supposedly that's coming tomorrow. Hopefully, because they said, like, if you haven't read it, we highly recommend it. That makes me think that it's done and it just hasn't been posted yet. And it says, such as everything related to Astral. 2 big fixes that I want out of this CR is I want Mythic to no longer be a trigger. Please, just send it to the game by rules process. Please. And I want Astral to be fixed that it follows the ruler even if you swap. So then we don't have Virgil spam.dex, but we'll talk about that when we see there. As in
If
tomorrow.
you throw a dead body through a portal and bring it back, it doesn't come back to life.
Yeah, it's still dead. Yeah, for
it's still
sure.
a dead body.
Still a dead body. So let's talk about these cards that are banned. We're talking about Wanderer. Wanderer, banned. Tinkerbell, Spirit of the Light Trials. Hooray! On first release, she was very strong. They talk about this in the article. She's just only gotten stronger, especially as we've had 2-drop resonators that become 1-drop resonators just by casting them. Just the ease of those kinds of things. Tony, Alabaster. Alabaster's a little bit weirder, but Tony, 10 Oaths that counts as a resonator, right? We've had like ways to abuse Tinkerbell a lot more than when she was created, so she's just become too good. So in Wanderer, she's just full banned. That means she's just gone, which is fine for me. The one that everybody wanted, Mask. It gone.
Bye.
It gone.
It's really broken mask.
Goodbye. Goodbye, broken mask.
Very broken mask.
Broken mask. It's really broken.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to have that be gone now, for sure. I mean, I was still like advocating for like some combo bans and stuff, but I said before when I made those statements, like, I wasn't gonna be mad if Mask was just full X. Like, I'm not like against it. Like, it's gonna be good to have that gone for sure. It really opens up the format incredibly wide for what people can play around with. Tenos of Proto Pater Polis got the Sherry style ban, which is that you can only main deck it. So this weakens books substantially, but still keeps them meta competitive. It makes like
it changes their win condition specifically too,
it changes their win conditions and makes them have to work to get the value engine online. Like they can still have access to the value engine, don't get me wrong. It's just not, they have to like play to support it because 10 Oaths is a 2-drop card without quick cast and no inherent protection. Right? Like it has to resolve. It's not just, oh, I cheated it in. You know, they have to find it, they have to cast it, and everything else. It's still a good card. I think you see book players, because I still think you see books being played. I think you just like play like 3 copies in the main now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. They pay 2 will and draw it instead of just judging into it. Exactly. It takes a lot of time. So there's that. No longer banned. Shark of Solari, Mariabella Heart to Heart Talk. Ooh, so now you can play 8 Mariabellas in your deck if you want. Cheshire Cat's 4 Heart to Hearts, but 8 Mariabellas. Cheshire Cat's Assistance, Brad, Amnesiac Immortal, Disrupting Shout, Hunter's Area, Otherworld Dreams, Life Zappers, Virgilius, Almerius, Moodstart, and Reflect and Refrain. So let's talk about the things that have been reworked. Shark of Solari now has been reworked so that it taps something. It taps a J-Res instead of drawing a card because they have a draw power engine in the form of the new Ainz armor. Mariabella, no changes to her. She's just come back. We've already seen Cheshire Cat's Assistant. Brad now only is all 5 colors if you're playing a 6 Sage, and now comes back from grave to field, not RFG to hand. So he just is undying on board, which is a big change for that. And only being all 5 colors for 6 Sages is a change for sure. Disrupting Shout, unhit. Hunter's Area, all of its like top line stuff is reunited with Christie, and now it can only make vampires instead of any race. So big change to that. Still very playable for Christie, but significantly weaker in everything else, and not the Zeus Alice problem of just making anything any race. Otherworld's Dreams. Let's see. Yeah. Alejandro asked, "Is it fine that Masket's gone, but Makoto Class Corpse is legal?" Real question. They paid heart to heart. Ritualist is perfectly fine. You have to pay for him, and he's answerable as a 2-cost resonator. Yeah, I agree. Have to draw into Ritualist, can cast it, and don't remove races. It's fine. Yeah, this is great. We appreciate it. Tell the team they killed it on this ban list for real, 100%.
Huge.
So Otherworld Dreams is back.
We mean Mask.
Yeah,
They killed Mask.
they killed Mask. Well, the rest of this list is also insanely good, but we'll talk about that in a second. Otherworld Dreams is now full back. So I've gone on record before that I thought Otherworld Dreams could come back sooner if we got rid of Favor's spell. I'm a little bit hesitant to have Otherworld Dreams back with Favor's spell in the format. That being said, we have a lot of non-quick cast stuff that's still very good. We also have things that can punish Otherworld Dreams, like 2 drops that we're casting as 1 drops, kind of thing, like that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of things that just get kind of cheated in a lot of the time too.
Right.
So it's like
my one caveat to Otherworld Dreams that makes me kind of eepy is in the Adelbert 1 card per turn lockout deck. Giving that deck another tool in green is a little bit like not super huge fan of that. Because now they get Otherworld Dreams and Memory of Worlds, which is essentially is pretty kind of tricky with what they can do. That being said, I'm not entirely sure how good that deck really is competitively. So, sure, it's a stun deck and someone might be obnoxious with it, but it's probably fine to exist in the environment. And we have enough untouchable stuff, right? So it's probably fine. That's just kind of one of my concerns. But it's something I'm watching. Right, I wouldn't necessarily, and I think they even mentioned it in this article. They're kind of letting the format kind of run wild a little bit, and they're willing to relook at stuff if needed, which I think is fine. Life Sappers we've already talked about. Virgilius full back, just full back. This brings up one of the other CR changes that I really want, which we already talked about how Astral I need it to swap. I need swapping to not. Unastral, because then books just becomes Virgil.deck. They go, oh, we lost Tenos. Okay, 4 Virgils. They just do that. That being said, we do have a lot more stuff to answer Virgil in the nowadays. Alabaster, Muse Spirit, Mina Harker. There's a lot more stuff. Zero's Lightning to kill to expel the Virgils. There's a lot more Virgilius hate in the environment that I think is totally fine to give him a chance to come back. And it opens up some cool lines. I think it opens up some cool spaces. Someone mentioned before that you, interestingly enough, with Zero, you get a Virgil out by astraling Zero and then use her God's Art to heal her. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. We have talked about how Zero kind of can struggle to finish games. Give her Virgil. It's oh, okay.
Here you go.
I don't hate that. You know what I mean? That's pretty neat. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. Almerius has been changed. She now has a beginning of game trigger to only gain 1,000 life instead of starting life plus 3,000. She now also can only discount her partner's judgment, not herself. She has to pay 3 still to judgment. And now her flip enter effect only grabs mono attribute things. Mono attribute light things. So you can't final stance or anything else like that. So she's significantly more narrowed in what she can grab. Mooj Dart, Mirror also. Yeah. Yeah. Alabaster Shaman, Mirror, stops Virgil, same kind of thing. Yeah, no final stance, cheese, nothing like that. Mood Start now, instead of drawing you an extra card at the beginning of the game, she just makes your hand size +1 at the beginning of the game. She still has the tap cycle, and now she has a God's Art that gives you that draws you a card, but only if my list is flipped. Essentially, they took the powerhouse parts of my list and Mooj Dart and made them only for being used to together as long as you've flipped the other one. So it's like, oh, very thematically trying to push these two to be together, right? Which I think is very cool. Her J ruler side is unchanged, fully unchanged. It works exactly the same as she was. So I think they did a good job with her. And then Mooj Reflect Refrain was tweaked exactly how we thought they were going to be tweaked, where they only trigger with Change the Heart. Ta-da. Before we get into the combination bans, thoughts on Wanderer bans and unbans of single cards. Just like flat thoughts.
Paul?
Yeah. Let's go.
Mike of Light. I will pay 1 to Judgment Mike of Light.
All right, cool. Big positive thoughts about these. Big positive, because we're in Mike of Light mode. Otherworld Dreams is scary, as you mentioned. I think that it poses some issues, and I'm very curious about how heart-to-heart talk will affect things, if it even will, because, like, I'm pretty sure if somebody just sticks the therapist on board, heart-to-heart does nothing for the most part. Am I right about that?
Yeah, therapist would certainly hurt. Yeah, for sure. And also with things like ice shards, you can like use ice shards to expel the heart. Like we have stuff and uppercuts, right? We have stuff we have more stuff to interact with heart to heart talk now. So it's like, yeah, okay, let it come back.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Mike?
Virgil's a little scary. Big aggro boy is always going to be big aggro boy, but curious to see what actually happens.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I think all of these are fine. I think we're gonna test these and just find that like they are totally fair and totally fine in today's metagame. It seems like the last cluster itself was like, hey, we want to do this. How do we make that happen? Oh, let's put Untouchable in the game. Oh, let's put Mirror in the game. Let's do these things. And now it's like, cool, here you go. This is what you get. And I mean, that's kind of how it feels. This ban list is like, no, we've been working up to this, at least from where I'm sitting. There's a lot of things that were just in place to where when these things came back, it just made sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think with set design, with new tools, with counterplay that exists, and with the supposed CR updates, all of these changes make sense and bring back exciting cards. Makes me sad that I didn't bring all of my Virgils to get signed, just the ones in my ABC deck, but you know what? I'll live. It's fine. Brent says, going Astral doesn't lose abilities. Virgil is a free roll at all decks not looking to Judgment, Order, or Contract. You're right. Correct. Technically, you can't make an order. I think you can't make an order ruler astral, and I do not think you can make a contract ruler astral for Virgil, from my understanding, because the act of making a ruler astral is taking the Jade ruler, flipping it over, and putting it into your ruler zone with an astral counter. It's those. So I do not think you can actually do that to order and contract rulers, just judgment rulers.
Thank you for confirming that, Alejandro.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
That leads me to some other conclusion.
So let's talk about the combo bans and the uncombo bans. Awakened Magic Snow in the Earth plus Library of Neverending Stories. Crimson Moon's Battleground plus the Kaguya sub-ruler, Trials from Kaguya. This means that if you want to tag K1 with someone else, you don't get Trials. Sure. Giotto and the Gil extension rule, as well as the Gil extension rule plus Ashwin. These are now combo bans. Brought off of the combo ban list, we have Gruus Ballista and Ambushing Scorpion. Very neat. Atomic Bahamut and Atomic Turbulence. Hello, full power Violet. Welcome back. Hanzo plus Kaguya Order God of Cats. Hello, Order Kaguya. Welcome back. Necromancer of Ma'at and Stein's Fragments. According to, apparently this is because of the new CR. Specifically, Necromancer of Ma'at will not count for solarization like she did before, so they're just going to undo that. Asuka and her contract. Welcome back to Wanderer, lady. Welcome back. Pure Heartstone of the Six Sages and Heavenly Magic, and then obviously Broken Mask and Hue because Broken Mask is gone. All of these combination bands are absolutely fire. These are pretty much the exact hits that we wanted for Gil Giotto. It combos her with the extension rule rather than Gil himself, which I think is kind of weird, I guess, but like whatever. It's fine either way.
Got the job done.
Got the job done.
Don't care.
And we talked
Got
about
the
this.
job done.
We talked about this before. That absolutely the right hit for Ashwin is just her with the extension rule. It's fine. It leaves her in a perfectly strong spot where she's still really cool with solo Gil. He just doesn't get insane draw power, but he does get the flexibility of being able to suddenly play all colors, and he's also not milling you to every turn. Or you can play the draw power plus thing, and then you can also pair him with Ashwin the Ruler. Like, it's fine. I think that's great. I think it's absolutely perfect. Awakened Magic Stone the Earth and Library. I think this was good. I think that alongside hitting 10 Oaths and Tinkerbell, which is Books was using Tinkerbell a lot, I think also hitting Awakened Magic Stone the Earth with Library was correct. Like, not like just giving Books a slap on the wrist and say play different, but also saying no, we're actually going to take something from you, I think is correct. And by far the best MP01 decks were Seer X something, and you can't deny that. Like, just flat out, they were the best decks of MP01. So yeah, all of these hits are great. And the uncombos, I mean, I think I'm not concerned about Violet at full strength. We have so many things that mess with Violet at full strength now. Ice Shards, the new Sphinx that comes out next set, Mirror, that messes with Atomic Turbulence. Like, there's so many things now that I'm like, a therapist to stop her from being able to activate in the first place. Like, let her have it, boys. Let's. I'm fine with it. 100%. It's fine. Girls staring at, Muse staring at. Like, there's all kinds of things that we can do to mess with it now. So I'm okay. Hanzo plus Kage is a little scary. That being said, I will say with the new rules about how the order text is granted to the ruler, and thus Hanzo would have an additional keyword, and as such is killable by Zero's Light Lightning, is like, okay, that's fine. You can have her back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let him have something. Also with things like Muse staring at, Alabaster Spirit, Muse Spirit, being able to stop the tokens from being able to be generated is also a thing. So it's just like, you know what? Sure, let her come back for this explosive format. Let her explore the format. I'm okay with that. Same with Asuka, right? We've kind of been saying like we think Asuka could probably come back for a bit, and so yeah, she's back. So this is crazy. This is crazy good stuff. I think this is all.
Harry, was Asuka combo banned with her contract before or after they changed the bonds to be one ruler instead of two rulers?
It was
At
before.
the same time.
It was before, I think.
I think it was at the same time.
Oh, okay, so she wasn't able to loop, and they still banned it.
Yeah,
Right.
Anyway.
Because the bond changes were erratas,
Right.
and so that was a combination ban. So like they have it at the same time, just in different parts of the changes that they were making to cards.
Yeah, crazy cool stuff. So yeah, all of these I think are hitting out of the park. I think these are fantastic uncombos and combos for what they want to do in the Wanderer environment, and it really opens the space up for a lot of different things, and it feels really cool. But that's my thoughts. What about you guys? What's your thoughts on this?
I have expressed my opinions in physical form.
Yeah, I saw some flailing. Seemed like positive flailing
Mike,
for the most part.
All yours.
Book of Light. I'll pay 1 to Judgment Book of Light.
We're still Book of Light right now.
We are still Book of Light. Let's
go. That's good.
Yeah, no, I'm very cool with these changes. I think that it definitely makes the format feel more kind of open and free. rather than trying to and I feel like they're really leaning into that with this list. Not even just from the bans and the combo bans, but also from everything that's getting unbanned. It's just like, all right, cool. Well, we've had our fun with, turn one Macrocosmos one-sided, and also here's another deck that plays with literally just make everything more expensive deck.
Right.
And it's like, now they're just like, all right, well, nobody liked that. Nobody liked playing when they couldn't play the game. So they had to make decks that got around not being able to play the game. Now we really want you to play the game. Here's a bunch of things that you should try with. And if we find something broken out of it, cool. We just figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir. I will play the game. I will play the game with all of these cards. There's so many cards I get to play with now.
What else is being added to the staples list now?
Well, Otherworld Dreams, I think.
Otherworld Dreams, Virgil.
Oh yeah.
Heart to Heart. I mean, all of the unbans are pretty much going on there, except for maybe the Disrupting Shout, which is more of a Killua.
Yeah, it's a Killua card. You need the ice counters for it.
But yeah,
and Killua got turbo nerfed, so
she's still very good. I think that she's unplayable, and I think that
balanced.
She's turbo balanced. Yeah, I think it's really good. Oh hey, Wu
playable now that Mask is in here.
Wu Jia Wu can play Virgil and beat no Stone Cold. Jeez, you just flip Wu Jia Wu and then kill him immediately to put Virgil out and go, hope this doesn't die.
Boy, that's sure hope I won't lose.
Man.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Two-pin, they did repairing the Death Scythe does only require you to rest one Moonchild. It was errata. It was just never printed into its. It was just never printed in its new errata form. It's errata to 1.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
It is 100%. Alejandro also confirmed in the chat. It's confirmed.
Yeah. No, the change, yeah, but I don't it being never reprinted.
Oh, it was reprinted in the ABC decks in the contract pack. Okay, cool. It says 1 in the contract.
Yep.
There we go. Great.
Right there.
Well, let's talk about overall Wanderer. This is crazy. I think this is awesome. I think it's everything that everybody wanted. We talked before about the vibe that we thought in the community, what we wanted to shift away from is the previous format felt like proactive floodgates were the competitive meta choice. And what this, or books, sorry, competitive floodgates or books were felt like the competitive choice. And I think what this does is it takes the two most proactive floodgates out of the environment, right? Not so bad with Giotto. You can still play solo Giotto. I don't know why you would, but you could. And again, I know that there are some people in Europe who think that people are just going to randomly sideboard solo Giotto, so it's not worth your time playing a graveyard deck. I think that's. Have you met the Force of Will community? Anyway, we're not that 4D. We're not that 4D chess. Just play stuff. And then I also think that books got enough of a hit that other stuff now has the ability to interact and play through books a lot more. I for instance, I know that, there are some control decks that the only reason why they struggled into books as much as they were is because they couldn't stop Tenos from resolving because it's just cheat-ins and act-in automatics. If you make Tenos a card I have to cast, then suddenly a lot more cards can interact with the book engine in a way that keeps them much more in check. So I think in that sense, it did what people wanted. Let's get off of proactive floodgate meta, not eliminate floodgates entirely, just get rid of proactive floodgate meta, and let's curtail books a little bit. We also got the added bonus of all of these other new tools coming back into the environment in a way that's really fun and expressive. And so I think it knocked it out of the park with what the community was hoping for Wanderer especially. Most decks literally can't side into Giotto without turning off most of their own deck. Yeah, agreed. For sure. And also for Brant, interestingly enough, Gil Lapis doesn't have to play Barrier Seal if he wants to save it. I mean, he does, but he still has his ruler side ability to do the RFGs. But also, he's a multicolor ruler, and that's an activate ability. Fates Reunited exists. So now Fates Reunited is also a way to slow down Gil Lapis. so he can't easily RFG your own stuff. Yeah, for sure. So lots of cool stuff here. Play the XR, lose out on Ashwin. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy good stuff. Now, I will say of the combination things, the things that has me a little bit concerned, I think, is Heavenly Magic and Pure Heartstone. Though I will think, though, with the coming back of with Ice Shards existing and the new Sphinx coming out next set as like ways to counter those decks, I do think that there's a lot better answers to those things, and high speed uppercut, right? Uppercut, Ice Shards and Sphinx are all things to like play into. But again, I think the philosophy is like we're gonna kind of open the door a little bit for Wanderer and see what happens. And I think that's fine. Like let it happen, right? Which I think is pretty cool. So I'm excited about it.
Wasn't something in the Heavenly Magic deck errata though?
Little Maria only works once per turn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still. Yeah, so it can't just like turn 1 4 gates. Little Maria also said you have to. Yeah, Little Maria shifted that where it can't just gates for gates for gates for gates anymore.
Yeah, it now has an enter effect that can be stopped. So if you do stop it, you no longer get legacy boost.
Well, Little Maria always had an enter effect to name a card. It just could do once per search. It was just always once per search, and now it's once per turn.
Let me double check that.
As someone who commentated over it, I know for a fact that it's still it was originally an enter effect.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, you go.
Sure it was as you played this card.
Certainly was not as you played this card.
No, you're right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it was originally an enter. The change was once per turn now, because it like hard once per turn, not once per search. That was the problem before.
Name a card. This card gains legacy boost.
Card.
They just separated the legacy boost and the enter.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the main difference. Okay.
Okay. So that's all for Wanderer, which is super exciting and leaves me with absolutely no idea what's going to get played this weekend at Minnesota in the GP. It's going to be crazy. I still think you see books. I still think you see people play Gil, because I still think Ashwin is nuts as a resonator. Like, I think Ashwin is still very strong, and I think Gil is still very strong, especially because he also still gets his sub-ruler, right? I could see Fox suddenly making a headwind because he doesn't have to worry about that stuff anymore. I could see, order decks popping up. There's so many crazy things that I think come in the format. I think Millium is good. I think everything else is crazy good.
It is a brewer's paradise.
It is. Yeah. Well, you get 4 days. Enjoy. MP01 gets a huge buff from Virgilius. That's definitely true. A lot of cool stuff there. Cool stuff. Robert, no star scale. I don't know, man. I think star scale is like the least impactful of the regalia. Like it just. I guess now you have to like consider it, I suppose, a little bit more. So maybe we see stone bases shift a little bit better, but like
I still respect it.
I still mostly respect it, but I don't think it's anywhere near bannable. But
not bannable, no.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, let's talk about Paradox. Because there's a lot of changes to Paradox here. So Rushing Dinosaur, Flash Freeze, Test Tube of Spirits, Hue, Replicant Odin, Zero's Light Lightning, and then the glorious Charlotte extension rule, the Luminaries extension rule. Books is just full gone. No longer banned. We have Child of the Darkness Moon and Uranus. And combo banned. Asuka got revived for 2 seconds in Wanderer, and then they reminded her that Paradox exists, and they shot her again. They literally just shifted the combo ban down to Paradox, which is probably where it should have been for a bit, to be honest. Googly-Eyed Chameleon and Dance Corp Master, because they don't want you cheating in a 3-drop on turn 2 with how Googly-Eyed works. Yokishima Hanada and Robomugo, Laika and Rabbit. This is surprisingly a really complex hit to Laika, both in terms of speed, and it does make trying to go for Therion morphed in one Paradox insanely difficult, because now you have to play the Utsune's Resonator to get to 8 unique Aradia Resonators. You have to play Utsune's. Yigdor plus Chubby Five-Tailed Fox makes sense. Silver Key and Zakauba. That one doesn't make quite as much sense to me, but I'm just gonna trust their judgment on that. And then that was our changes to Paradox. Yeah. This is great. I think this list is great for what they want to do for Paradox. I think Flash Freeze was kind of the next closest, like, free, cheap board wipe. Sure, it was based on an enter effect, but, like, still really good. And then if they canceled the enter effect, you still got to draw 2 off of it. Like, still really good. Hue, same kind of vibe. In Paradox, you just had these weird stun decks. In Paradox, Replicant Odin was just becoming back to being again the, like, strongest finisher that existed, and they were like, I think it's time that card can feel like a Wanderer finisher, but not a Paradox finisher.
Turns out new players don't like getting all of their stones destroyed.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it seems a little mean. I get it.
Glorian, Zero's Light Lightning. A little too, I will admit, a little too good in Paradox. Just is a little too good. It does suck that we have, like, a harder time dealing with Barrier now, but we do get Price to pay, which I think is a fine replacement in Paradox from the new set. Zero's
play precision cards.
Or play cards with precision.
Precision's good now.
For sure. And then the 3 extension rules make sense, or the 2 extension rules and the sub-ruler makes sense because Books and Luminaries were never Paradox decks. They were never designed to be Paradox decks. They are Wanderer decks at their core. No matter how much you nerf them, they will be Wanderer decks. Paul, how did it feel when I went turn 1 Judgment into flip into Ray Asnable plus Sphinx plus Flooding Serpent? Did it feel good?
Awful.
Yeah, it felt bad.
It did in the way that, like, oh wow, there's a giant meteor coming right at me.
Yeah.
Isn't that so amazing? And I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, and because they're no longer tagged, Uranus came off of the ban list because now you can goof around with Uranus, but he still costs you 2, and you can't burn a mana counter to make him cheaper. Okay, like, it's suddenly much more playable as solo Mars. It's fine. So yeah. Child of the Darkness Moon coming back is a big buff to Rulers and Paradox for the free spot removal existing. All the combo bans make a ton of sense. These are great. This is a great change for Paradox, and I'm super glad that I had to make, like, 4 changes to my Paradox list for this weekend for the side event.
Wowzer.
The tank that removes all Resonators with Barrier or Eternal. Yep, for sure. Certainly options to be able to mess with it.
Card is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Tank gaming.
Let's go.
This was, I mean, like, everybody in the community has given this like a 9 out of 10, and I can't disagree. I honestly give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Does everything I wanted. Yep. And I also say that from the perspective of, like, I'm biased and I am totally fine with the use of the combination ban list over single bans. I think the only thing that for me would have made this a 10, probably, I don't even know if I could give it a not a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I think this is still insanely good. Like I can't.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can fault it for is the fact that, like, I guess not everyone's happy about the fact that Giotto still exists, but like solo Giotto's not a problem. So I'm just like, I don't really know if I can concede and give you a half a point. I think it's still a 10 out of 10 because of how good everything else is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I
is
think
it?
she's having played Giotto on the channel. I think Giotto is a good, solid control strategy.
Oh yeah,
When she's not paired with like an insane amount of tempo, like Ashwin, I feel way better.
oh, she's fine.
Like I think she's worth experimenting with. I was going to like maybe say like I'm just gonna put her away for this season. I might bring her out later, but I'm thinking about maybe bringing her back to the channel
Yeah.
and just seeing what we can do. She has some interesting stuff I think she gets to do. So
Oh, Book of Dark. We've tapped to swap, draw a discard, pay 1, Judgment, Book of Dark.
no.
Book of Mike of Dark.
I think having an uninteractable way to mess the opponent's graveyard turn 0 is bad for the game feel. I don't care if Giotto's worse. I don't care if she's more balanced.
Sure.
Personally, not a big fan, and I think she's detrimental to game feel. I'm going to leave it at that. Back to Light.
Tap, draw a
I
discard.
will agree with that.
Pay 0, flip back, produce 1 will for Judgment. Tap, draw discard, pay 1, Judgment, Book of Mike of Light.
But now she's not broken. That's good.
Yes, I would prefer Giotto had to work to get up to that point
Sure.
where she could just stop that. Honestly, probably a better way of looking at Giotto would be to look at the Dark Alice from Twilight Wanderer. I think Dark Alice was a perfect Giotto idea. This just takes it a little too far.
A little overtuned.
And so,
Agreed.
yeah, a little overtuned. Because it's continuous, non-interactable.
CCG Genesis just let you play Lucy. You can. Honestly.
We can.
In Wanderer, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. Bless you, Mike.
Yeah.
You go right ahead. Okay.
I muted my mic
Buddy,
just in
we
time.
get to play Lucy.
I think
Cook with me. Cook with me off stream.
I think with the primary consensus of the community for this list is it falls somewhere between 9 and 10. Like, you can go up, you can go down, you could make little tweaks, but like the core mission statement of this, with the core mission statement and execution of this ban list, as well as the rework protocol cards that are coming off and the way they've reworked them, like somewhere fall in the category of 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. And like, as someone who's going to have this format for my tournament, FowFest, thank you. This is exactly what I wanted. Because now FowFest is going to be incredibly exciting and fun. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
I am very excited for what we get to bring to the channel in the next few months, just based on this stuff and the stuff we've seen from 10 Oaths.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna have a time.
Yeah, we are absolutely gonna have a time. This is kind of crazy. Alejandro, are you still in the chat?
Hope so. Hi, Alejandro.
If you are, I have
I
have a question for you. That will you're here. Okay. Alejandro, feel free to say no or that you can't give me permission. May I show the bonus thing that was sent to me with the products? The things that I told you that I said looks beautiful. May I show them?
Ooh.
As a cool, fun thing?
Come on, Alejandro, let us do it.
If I can't, that's fine. I just don't. I don't know.
Please call my name. Please call my name.
Take your shot. Take your shot. Right? Like, worst you can say is no.
Shiny.
He said I could. Here we go. Okay. Usually I shouldn't, but as it will be spoiled today, I can. Ooh. Okay, hold on. We're gonna shift for 1 second.
Sick.
Where's the box?
Can we get some kikis in the chat for Alejandro? As I continue just having allergy attacks.
Okay, I'm gonna make myself big for a second here. So,
big.
because these are gonna be spoiled today, well, I gotta also move myself to the front of the. Whoa, here I am, covering up everybody.
Oh, there.
So,
Big Jeremy.
these will be at FowFest as part of the catalog of stuff that you can get. These are the June promos.
Ooh.
The June Wanderer League promos. We have. I'll do this one first. We have Beelzebub,
Fly Eyes.
big old flyboy. So there's the Beelzebub promo.
I just want to fly.
So that looks very cool. And we have our June bride, Dunyazad.
Ooh, June Bride.
So, who's she marrying?
That's a great question. Can't answer that.
Alejandro?
Not Alejandro.
Lore?
If we're going off the story of 1001 Nights, I don't want to know who she's marrying, bud.
Yeah. So so we will now have 5 months worth of promos available for people to choose from at FowFest. And so also every side event will also get you one promo of choice from the catalog. So you could get these guys too as part of your participation in the side events too. And we have plenty. We have truly so many. So we are not going to run out.
PLUNTY plenty.
Yes, we have plenty. So be sure to come to that. Yeah, so it's very exciting stuff. Thank you, Alejandro, for letting me show that. Dunyazad was marrying Shahryar in the original story when Sherry stepped in. Oh, okay, there we go. It's the original story of that. So good lore. Shahryar is the king, the distrust king.
Alejandro knows that story.
So
that's kind of fucked up. That's fine.
Yeah, this today was just so much good news. I do think I was worried when I saw the announcement that people would freak out about Minnesota. But honestly, the vibe that I get from most people is they're like, well, while it could have been after Minnesota, but before FowFest, like the Monday after, like we had previously kind of talked publicly about, the fact that this changes the format for Minnesota because of the things that they hit that people wanted to hit, they're more like, great, now I can just kind of play whatever I want at Minnesota. And so like the vibe shift was very positive, which I think is great.
Wild West instead of the most constrictive thing in the world. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. Patrick's not, because he's going to be playing again. So
Patrick, you don't understand. You can play. Okay, Patrick, you don't understand. You can play.
You could play Olivia. You could play Olivia.
No, play Prego TK.
So you lost blue. You lost blue 2-drop toolbox control. So just go play blue 2-drop toolbox control.
Just roll on a random table like some of us do.
It was on the list.
It was on the list.
It was on the list. I will be playing in the side event, in the Paradox side event, day 2, thanks to the wonderful commentary work of Babatunde and Lance Maverick, who will be joining me for the weekend. We are going to be working together for day 1, and then day 2 they're going to take over for top 8, and then we're going to take over for top 8, and then I'm going to go play in the side event, and I'm going to be recording my games in the Paradox event for the POV, with the POV camera for the members. So if you are a member on the channel, you will be able to watch that footage after the tournament is over. I'm very excited to bring that experience. You can kind of follow me through the Paradox side event as I try to battle my way to the top. I think that will be a very fun. I think that will be a very fun opportunity. Will be going to FowFest, but he's not coming to Minnesota. He's on my. I needed him to tell me this. He was going to commentate for me. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, maybe I'm not playing in the side event after all. Gosh dang it.
It's okay. They can do it solo. Lance has got it.
Okay. Well,
It's okay. Pat can compensate.
Pat, do you
Right,
want us
Pat?
to, Pat, do you want us to pick you up on the way? I guess. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, lots of stuff exciting coming on. Gonna be cool. Gonna be exciting. Having a great time. Thank you all so much for watching. Look forward to this Wednesday. We have the pre-release unboxing sneak peek in place of a feature match, so you'll want to tune in for that premiere. And then this weekend we have the Minnesota Grand Prix, GP. So looking forward to that. So as always, this has been myself, DMO73, and I have been joined, as always, by Paul Reisman,
Kitties, Swordman, Mirrors, Scorpions, Conversations.
and Book of Mike. Mike of Light. Oh, like Mike of Dark.
It's a 9.5 out of 10.
That's the dark take. Class dismissed, everybody.